What's up, everybody, and welcome into today's video. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Cream. We're a real estate channel. We're real estate investors, and we operate and own a full-time real estate investing business. We share our wins, our losses, and everything in between. We also talk a lot about personal development because we know from our own lives and our own experience that the more you work on you, the more you develop yourself, the better your business is going to be, and every aspect of your life, including your health and your relationships, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Friendly reminder, we're all spiritual beings having a human experience. What that means is you are a soul. You don't have a soul, you are a soul, and you are connected to the higher power. If you want to call that God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, that's perfectly fine. But just know that you are powerful, you are a creator, and it is your purpose here on this in this life, on this planet, to be the best version of yourself. And that's why when you are making actions in alignment with being the best version of yourself, you feel good. Pay attention to the way you feel. It is the emotional guiding scale. One of my favorite teachers, Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham, teaches us the emotional guiding scale, the emotional guiding system, I think she might call it. Doesn't matter. When you feel good, you're in alignment with your higher self, with your soul, which is connected to the infinite, connected to the divine, directly connected to God. That's why when we feel good, we are in alignment. When we feel bad, we are out of alignment. We must pay attention to our conscience. Our conscience is the authentic voice of God. That quote has been, I think it was Rutherford Hayes, who originally said it. It's been used many times by many teachers, but it's absolutely true. Your conscience, your inner voice, your feelings. Pay attention to the way you feel. Pay attention to your conscience. Because when you're doing something, you kind of know you shouldn't be doing it. That's going to lead to shame and regret. Now, you might say, Dave, I don't have any shame and regret. I mean, because they're such heavy words. That is the lowest vibration, the lowest frequency that you possibly could feel is shame and regret. Look it up yourself. Go to Google and type in the emotional scale, the emotional vibrational scale. This is not my work. I'm just regurgitating what I have learned from my own trials and tribulations and from my teachers and mentors. My favorite mentors are Abraham Hicks, Joe Dispenza, Napoleon Hill. Those are my top three right there. But this is what I've learned. I've been into personal development for many years, but things are clicking now. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I quit drinking alcohol and I quit all vices almost 3 years ago now. And that had to go. I have a massive addictive personality, and that was holding me back and keeping me at a very low vibration. But when it comes to shame and regret, you might be thinking, I don't have any shame. I don't have any regret. I've never killed anybody. I've never crashed a car, right? Of course. That would be considered a 1,000-pound regret if you were to kill somebody, right? And you carried that shame and you carried that regret. That's like a 1,000-pound weight. Many of us don't carry around a 1,000-pound weight from one thing, but we carry around 1,000 little 1-pound shames. It's death by 1,000 cuts. It's 1,000 little things that we know we shouldn't be doing, but we continue to do. And that is the stuff that is holding us back. That is the stuff that is keeping us out of alignment. That is the stuff that is keeping us at a frequency, vibrating at a frequency of a low vibration. And your frequency is what you frequently see, is what you frequently see. So when you're carrying around all of these little shames and regrets, all of these little things that your conscience tells you shouldn't be doing, but you continue to do it because you're stuck in that loop and it's just become program at this point. It's just become your daily routine. That is what's holding you back, and that's what we need to face, and only you can face it. I'm not here to show you what to see. I'm showing you where to look, right? Look within. Pay attention to the way you feel. You're a spiritual being having a human experience, and you're here to create. And what you're here to create is what you can control. What you can control is yourself. That is the only thing you can control. At the end of the day, you try to force your will upon others, it never comes back good. It's never going to go good, right? That's the ego. We must go within. That's what we're doing here on this channel. And today we're talking about instant gratification. This is the killer, everybody. We live in a society where things are so easy, relatively speaking. Take yourself back even 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. We were living in caves, right? I mean, take yourself back to our ancestors who are literally needing to hunt for their food or grow their own food and get out there and work every day for irrigation and grow crops. And I mean, it was insane. We live in a society now, which I'm not complaining. I'm grateful to be alive during this amazing time, right? We're on the cutting edge of creation right now. It's a beautiful thing. However, we got it pretty good. If you're hungry, you go get food. It's right down the street at the old grocery store or any restaurant. I mean, there's just an abundance and a plethora of the things that we need to survive. And what doesn't leave us, though, is that hunter mentality. See, we are resilient as human beings. We've been around for millions of years, and we are resilient. Our bodies are, and our inner wiring is basically built to hunt, and we're built to survive. I mean, we have so much going on in our brain, the amygdala, the fight or flight mechanism. There's just so much into us where we're survivors, we're resilient. And when we live in a society like we do now, where everything's real easy, that gets suppressed. That inner hunter of ours, that inner, drive to survive, that inner, what is it? That just aggressive almost. It's that go-getter mentality. It gets suppressed because we don't really need to go hunt. We don't really need to. If you want to communicate, you pull out your phone, right? I mean, people used to trek for hundreds of miles just to communicate with somebody else. This is a much different society than what we are built for and where we came from, our ancestors and whatnot. So we need to take that into consideration. We are still built like that. So we live in this easy society, and when we take away all the challenges and we take away all of the adversity that we are built for, our subconscious is going to create adversity in our life. So what we must do is self-induce contrast. We must self-induce challenges in a positive light. We must self-induce positive challenges for us to overcome, because when we overcome, you never feel better. You want to feel good? Think of all the times you've overcome something that you've actually worked for. You can't help but to feel proud. And remember, the emotional guiding scale, when you feel good, that's your frequency. That's going to change what you frequently see in your physical life. So you want to feel good. We want to put ourselves on a path of feeling good. The way to feel good is to overcome challenges. Be proud of yourself. That's the ultimate feeling. It's high up there on that emotional guiding scale, right? You feel good when you truly work for something, right? Anything that's handed to us, you might get an instant gratification. This is what we're talking about here eventually in this video. But when something is given to us, it loses its flavor pretty quick. And if we're not ready for what has been given to us, it could actually set us back and be detrimental to us. Think about the lottery winners. We got the Powerball. We got all this stuff. Think about when something, how many times throughout history you hear about an actor, an actress, a music person, or somebody who makes it big, or they get a big influx of money, but they're not conditioned and ready for it. It could be extremely detrimental. It could lead to overdose. How many times have you heard this? Right? You hear about all these people, they overdose. It's terrible. It's because they're not quite ready for it, right? They've been living in this conditioned world where everything's easy, and they didn't really earn it. Yes, they probably earned it, but they got a big influx of cash. And if you're not ready for it inside, it could create havoc and wreak havoc on the external, right? Because the external is always going to be a reflection of the internal, right? And if the ego gets a hold of a bunch of money, who knows what it's going to do? I know what I would do. There would be signs. If I was still back in my heyday, drinking and drugging and everything else, I would probably be dead, for sure, right? So we must work on ourselves every single day and build ourselves and tap into that hunter mentality that's already built into us, but we must reawaken it. We must reawaken it through self-induced adversity. And this is going to come from working out. It's going to come from dieting. It's going to come from building a business or working on a project that you're genuinely proud of. It's going to come from overcoming fear. It's going to come from having those tough conversations. Maybe it's going to come from putting yourself on camera. Maybe this is your calling. Maybe whatever it is that's you're afraid about on the outside of your comfort zone, that's a good place to start, right? Many of us, what happens is we get so conditioned and programmed to live within the comfort zone. When we start to lean up against the edge of the comfort zone, what do most people say? Well, I got to take the edge off. They take the edge off with an external vice. They reach for that drink. They reach for the meaningless sex. They reach for that pornography. They reach for that vape. They reach for something that's like, wow, I got to take the edge off. I had a tough day. Well, they had a tough day because they're getting pushed out of their comfort zone. But everything that you want in your life is on the outside of that comfort zone, but it's going to be a little fear. That's what fear is, fear of the unknown, because you're leaving the cage, right? You're leaving this current reality. You're stepping into a new reality. It's going to feel like fear. And when we face the fear and when we take action, regardless of how we feel, that is the path to success, because you're going to overcome challenges when you take action regardless of how you feel. If you're sitting around right now and waiting to feel a certain way before you take action, you are never going to take that action. You're going to be on a constant loop of procrastination, which is a subtle form of self-sabotage, by the way, or you're just always going to blame something else on the outside. Oh, I mean, I would have started that business, but so and so screwed me. And it's always somebody else outside of you's fault. Really, what it is the fear of leaving the comfort zone. So let's feel the fear and let's take action anyway. We're not waiting around for motivation by any means. We're taking action. Instant gratification is a killer because we're so conditioned and programmed to change the way that we feel. And it's easy to do that. Oh my God, I'm a little bit, I'm feeling the fear. I'm feeling a certain way that's outside of my comfort zone. Hurry, give me a drink. Hurry, give me something quick, right? Change our state of mind. And also, the instant gratification is a killer when it comes to creating these expectations for yourself. So you set these goals for yourself. And what do most people say, right? Let's say you're looking at somebody who lost 50 pounds, right? What's the first question? How long did it take you? Everybody's conditioned to want to know how long. And that's that conditional behavior, like, well, I'll do the work, but how long is it going to take? Why? Why do you care? If your life's perfect purpose, if your soul's purpose is to be the best version of yourself, it's not about the next challenge, 90-day challenge. How much did you lose in 90 days? What happens at the end of every 90-day challenge? If the person even makes it the whole 90 days, they end up going back, right? And most times they're worse off than they before they started. Look at the documentary. It's either on Netflix or Amazon Prime right now. And it's about the old show, The Biggest Loser, where everybody loses all the weight. And it's how literally everybody puts the weight back on. Now, that could be looked at as many ways, but ultimately, it's the fault of the person. I mean, we can blame The Biggest Loser. Is it the most healthy thing that they lose hundreds of pounds in a short amount of time? Probably not. Probably not the most healthy. That's almost like the same lottery winner who gets all the cash dumped in, right? These people are part of this show. They're losing rapid weight loss, but they haven't built it yet. They haven't built that inner way of being that's actually going to sustain their success. That's why they all go back, right? That's the same with these 90-day challenges or 75 hard. So what we must do is operate from a place of purpose. And that's only going to come from a spiritual foundation. So it's like, what is my purpose? Your purpose as a soul, first and foremost, you realize, hey, I'm a soul. Well, what is your soul's purpose? What does your soul want? Your soul wants to grow. Your soul wants to grow. We live in this abundant universe. Everything is all about multiplication in this universe. Think about it. You're walking through the forest, eating an apple. You throw the apple core on the ground. Well, those seeds are going to find their way into the ground in this example. What's going to grow? An apple tree. And that apple tree is going to produce hundreds and thousands of more apples, multiplication. But guess what? That apple core that you threw, it ain't just going to grow one tree. It's going to grow like 8 trees because there's multiple seeds. And then these 8 trees are going to just grow thousands of apples. Every single one of those apples is going to grow thousands more apples. It's a multiplication abundant world. It's absolutely insane. So, with that being said, instant gratification is the ultimate killer. Let's stop setting these time frames for ourselves. Many people, they have these, high expectations, but a low work ethic. And that is a recipe for an entitlement mentality. What we must do is flip that on its head, have a high work ethic, and then set low expectations. Don't even have expectations. Just know you're walking the path and know that you're living your purpose. Okay? Know that your purpose is to learn and grow, and know it's an everyday battle. This isn't a 90-day challenge, 60 days, these conditions, I'll do this. If I don't lose 10 pounds in my first 30 days, I don't think this is working. It's all this bullshit, guys. Let it all go. Walk the path every single day. And what is the path? The path is to be the best version of yourself. How are you going to feel the best? How are you going to be the best version of yourself? Well, you got to start loving yourself. This is the hardest thing. Self love is an epidemic. The lack of self love is a freaking epidemic in our society. Let's start there. So I know that's kind of maybe a big thing to handle right now. It's like, how am I going to start loving myself? Well, let's start with liking ourselves. Well, I don't even know if I like myself. I know I didn't. When I was still drinking, I would wake up in the morning and want to kill myself. No lie. Like, I used to just want to die every day. I didn't even like myself. I used to curse myself. F you. Why do you do this to yourself all the time? I didn't even like myself. So if we're in a place right now in our life where we don't even like ourselves, well, it's kind of a big jump to start loving ourselves. So let's scale it back just a little bit. Well, if we don't even like ourselves, maybe we should start by just trusting ourselves. This is the beginning of it. So how do we start to trust ourselves? We start to fulfill small commitments to ourselves every single day. And that commitment could be insanely small. It could be, I'm going to put my shoes away every time I get home from work. It's going to be, I'm going to put the dishes away. I'm never going to walk past the sink with dirty dishes in there ever again. It's these small commitments that we do. And when you start fulfilling these small commitments, you're going to start to become a person of integrity to yourself. You're going to know, I'm a person who keeps my word. And that's a likable person. So you're going to start to like yourself, and then you're going to start to love yourself. But you must keep your commitments to yourself. And your self-love and your personal growth is only going to come from action, right? It's not going to come from journaling and I'm going to write all this stuff I'm grateful for. That's good, right? But the real work is the action. It is being. It is being an individual who trusts themselves, who likes themselves, who loves themselves. How do we do this? It comes from action, and it only comes from overcoming challenges. We must set ourselves up with challenges to overcome. It has to come. You have to, guys. There's no sitting around and we're going to positive think our way into action. It's not going to happen. Oh, I'm going to wait till I feel good and then I'm going to do this thing. No, you do it now. You do it now, regardless of how you feel. So what are these challenges that we can set up for ourselves? It's got to come from the workouts, from the diet, and from the business. Build something that you're proud of. If you're working a full-time job right now, do that freaking job the best you freaking can, right? If you sell peanuts, out on the road, be the best freaking peanut seller there is, because you could grow from a place there. You can start changing your life, right? Whatever it is that you're currently doing as far as your daily actions, do it the best of your ability. This is fertile ground to grow from. And you're going to start to like yourself because you're going to be like, I'm a beast. I'm a beast at selling peanuts. I'm a beast at roasting peanuts. That's self-talk. Listen how you're talking to yourself now, right? You flip that switch. You just make that pivot. In all of this, the most fertile ground is going to come from, we must remove all this external crap that creates the instant gratification, but it also creates shame and regret. And you know what I'm talking about. It's the alcohol, the vaping, the porn, the looking at other people's profiles, the judgment, the jealousy, right? The politics, all this external stuff. We got to go within. We got to start paying attention to how we feel. That is extremely important. And we want to feel good. So let's start trusting ourselves, liking ourselves, loving ourselves by overcoming self-induced adversity, which creates productivity in our life. Everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I will see you all on the next video.